Welcome back to CJ Classic Truck. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to remove spark plugs, but more importantly, I'm going to show you what to look out for when changing your spark plugs. Whether you've been wrenching on a car or truck your entire life, or if wrenching something that's completely new to you, changing out spark plugs is something that everyone should be capable of doing. Now, when changing your spark plugs, it's important to know what a spark plug is supposed to look like and what a spark plug is not supposed to look like. Spark plugs will be able to tell you what's going on with your engine internally, whether your truck or car is running too rich or too lean. By pulling out a spark plug, you'll actually be able to read it and you'll be able to tell what's going on. Now, that's not the only information a spark plug can tell you. If you end up having a valve seal leak or a head gasket leak and coolant getting into the cylinders, by pulling a spark plug out, you'll be able to identify this and then hopefully catch the problem before it turns catastrophic. Now let's go ahead, open up the hood on our C10, pull some of our plugs out, and then we're going to give you some examples of what plugs should look like and what plugs shouldn't look like. As far as changing the plug, it's pretty easy. All we have to do is pull off our plug wire here. And then from there, we'll grab a ratchet and a socket, loosen it up and take it out. So we got our first spark plug out here, and I gotta say, this isn't really what you want a plug to look like. Now, our truck has been running a little rich recently, so we are in the process of fixing that. So right now, our plug smells like fuel. It's pretty black around everything, and it looks like they might have been in there for about a year, judging from the rust on the side of it. Now, when you pull out a plug, you want it to actually have a little bit of discoloration around the electrode here. They usually come white brand new. You don't want it to be fully white, but like I said, you just want to have a little discoloration to it, and then you want to make sure that the electrodes are evenly worn, and that should be a good plug. Now let's go ahead, finish the rest of these plugs up, and then show you some examples of some other plugs that are bad. One thing I do want to mention as we're pulling the rest of the plugs out is remember what cylinders you're pulling the spark plugs from. It's important on these older engines because we want to see what each cylinder is doing and how it's performing. This isn't like a newer vehicle where it's got a million sensors to tell us what's going on inside the engine, but the spark plugs will tell us everything we need to know. We now have all of our old spark plugs removed out of the driver's side of our engine, so it's time to go ahead and throw in some new ones, so let's get it done. Now let's say you go and pull a plug and it ends up looking a lot cleaner than every other spark plug inside the engine. If you do have something like that, that usually means you have coolant getting into the cylinder, which is not what you want. Or let's say you pull a plug out and you have a ton of like sandy kind of deposits around the electrode. That could mean that you have a valve seal leaking. Again, not what you want, and that's why it's very important to always check your plugs. Well, we got all the spark plugs replaced in our C10. Once you go ahead and knock out the driver's side, you just repeat the same process on the passenger side. It's a pretty easy job. Now, doing spark plugs is very important. They are a very vital part of your engine. If you have bad spark plugs in it, then your truck is not going to run its best. I always advise to at least check the plugs every other oil change, and if they don't look good, just go ahead and replace them so you can make sure that your truck is running in its best abilities. Now, if you do need to buy a set of spark plugs for your truck, go on our website at cjponyparts.com. We have multiple spark plugs to choose from on there. Now it's time to drop a gear and disappear. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you need any classic truck parts, click the link down below in the description.